Love is not just a feeling, it's a choice. When people first talk about love, they describe it as something magical, a spark in the heart, butterflies in the stomach, a force that sweeps you off your feet. And yes, in the beginning, love can feel exactly like that. Exciting, intoxicating, almost like a dream. But here's the untold truth. The butterflies eventually fade. The initial spark doesn't last forever. What remains after the thrill fades is the true foundation of love. And that foundation isn't built on fleeting feelings. It is built on choices. Real love is not passive. It does not simply happen to us. Real love is intentional. It is the decision to stand beside someone not only in their best moments, but also in their worst. It is choosing patience when your partner frustrates you, choosing forgiveness when mistakes are made, choosing loyalty when temptations arrive. The world romanticizes love as a constant wave of passion, but the deeper truth is that love is an act of will. It is the conscious choice to nurture a bond, even when the emotions aren't convenient or exciting. Think about it. Feelings are like the weather. They change with the seasons, with moods, with circumstances. But choices are like architecture. They build structures that can stand storms. If you rely only on feelings, your love will collapse when hardship comes. But if you anchor your relationship in choices, then even when feelings fluctuate, your love stands strong. The honest truth no one tells you is this: choosing love is sometimes hard. There will be days when you don't feel understood, when arguments drown out affection, when stress overshadows romance. In those moments, it is not passion that sustains love. It is commitment. Love says, even when I don't feel it, I will choose to honor it. Even when it's hard, I will choose to stay. Even when it costs me, I will choose to give. This does not mean love is void of feeling. In fact, the beauty is that when you continually choose love, the feelings return stronger, deeper, and more genuine than before. The butterflies may fade, but they are replaced by something far more powerful. A steady flame that warms the soul and cannot be extinguished by time. And here lies the spiritual truth. The act of choosing love mirrors the way the divine loves us. God's love is not based on fleeting feelings. It is steadfast, patient, merciful, and enduring. In the same way, when we practice love as a choice, we step into something sacred. We embody compassion, selflessness, and faithfulness, the very qualities that awaken our soul. So remember this: love is not found in the intensity of emotion alone. It is found in the quiet daily decisions to be kind, to forgive, to remain loyal, to walk together even when the path is rough. Love is not just what you feel, it's what you do, over and over again. And that choice, made consistently, creates a bond that no storm in life can break. Love is a mirror, not a mask. One of the deepest truths about love that people rarely talk about is that love is not a mask you put on. It is a mirror that reflects who you really are. Many people enter relationships believing that love will allow them to hide their flaws, cover their insecurities, and escape their wounds. They think if they look perfect, act perfect, and pretend to be unshakable, they will be loved. But real love does the opposite. It does not let you hide forever. It reveals you. Love has a way of pulling out the parts of you that you may not even know exist. It exposes your impatience when you thought you were calm. It brings out your jealousy when you believed you were secure. It tests your pride, your anger, your ability to forgive. Why? Because when you are deeply connected to someone, their presence becomes a mirror showing you the hidden corners of your soul. And this can be uncomfortable. Sometimes the reflection you see is not flattering. You may realize you carry wounds from your past. You may discover you are quick to judge, slow to listen, or afraid of being abandoned. Many people run from love at this stage because they don't like what is revealed. They mistake love's reflection as an attack, when in reality it is an invitation to grow, to heal, and to evolve. This is the untold truth. Love is not here to make you comfortable. It is here to make you better. Love challenges you to face yourself, not with cruelty, but with compassion. It says, "Here is who you are. Can you face it? Can you grow through it? Can you choose to become more than this?" Love strips away the mask and invites you into authenticity. And it is only when we dare to be authentic that we experience intimacy in its truest form. Think about it. If you are loved only for your mask, then deep down you will always feel unseen. But if you are loved after revealing your scars, your flaws, your weaknesses, then that love becomes unshakable. Real love begins when the mask falls away and two people dare to look at each other honestly. And this is not only about romantic relationships. Even in friendships, in family, in spiritual love, the same truth applies. The people who love you deeply will hold up a mirror, and sometimes you won't like what you see. But if you are willing to stay, to face that reflection, and to work on yourself, then love transforms you. It polishes your character, humbles your ego, and awakens your soul. So don't fear the mirror of love. Don't run from what it reveals. The reflection is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every weakness exposed is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every insecurity revealed is an invitation to heal. Every flaw uncovered is a chance to become more compassionate and more real. Love is not a mask to hide behind. It is a mirror that helps you become the truest version of yourself. And in that truth, you discover the kind of love that endures. Not shallow, not superficial, but deep, raw, and transformative. Love demands vulnerability, not perfection. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be strong, to hide our flaws, and to present the best version of ourselves at all times. From social media filters to the pressure of societal expectations, we are taught to wear masks of perfection. But here is the untold truth about love. Real love does not require perfection. It requires vulnerability. Vulnerability is the courage to show up as you are, with all your scars, fears, and imperfections. It is saying, "This is me, not polished, not flawless, not always strong, but real." Love cannot thrive where walls are built too high. You may protect yourself from pain by hiding behind those walls, but you also block yourself from intimacy. To truly love and be loved, you must be willing to open your heart, even at the risk of it being broken. Many people fear this because vulnerability feels dangerous. To trust someone with your truth is to hand them the power to wound you. To share your insecurities is to risk rejection. To expose your weaknesses is to risk being misunderstood. And yet, without this risk, love cannot grow. Love cannot live in shadows. It only blossoms in the light of honesty. The untold truth is that love does not demand that you never make mistakes. It does not ask you to be perfect. What it asks is that you are real, that you are willing to be seen, even when you feel unworthy, that you are willing to be heard, even when your voice trembles, that you are willing to let someone in, even when your heart carries scars from the past. Think about it. When you share your victories, people may admire you. But when you share your struggles, people truly connect with you. Vulnerability is the bridge between two souls. It transforms love from a surface-level attraction into a deep bond. Because when you allow yourself to be seen as you are, without hiding, you give the her person permission to do the same. And in that space, real intimacy is born. This is why so many relationships fail. Because people are too busy trying to look perfect rather than being willing to be vulnerable. They hide their fears, their insecurities, their mistakes, and then wonder why the connection feels hollow. Love cannot survive where there is only performance. It only flourishes in truth. And vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. It takes far more courage to say I was wrong than to pretend you are always right. It takes far more courage to say I am afraid than to act like you are unshakable. It takes far more courage to ask for love than to act like you don't need it. Vulnerability is not about being fragile. It is about being brave enough to be real. So here is the untold truth. Love does not want your perfection. It wants your authenticity. It does not need you to be flawless. It needs you to be open. For in vulnerability lies the doorway to intimacy, trust, and spiritual growth. When two people dare to be vulnerable with each other, love becomes not just a bond of bodies or minds, but a union of souls. Love is not possession, it's freedom. One of the greatest misconceptions about love is that it means ownership. Too often, people confuse love with control, thinking that when someone belongs to them, they should shape them, direct them, and even limit them. They mistake attachment for affection and domination for devotion. But here's the untold truth. Real love is not about possession. Real love is about freedom. When you truly love someone, you do not clip their wings. You help them fly higher. Love does not say, "You are mine, and you must bend to my will." Instead, it whispers, "You are free, and I choose to walk beside you." It does not demand the sacrifice of individuality. It celebrates it. Real love allows a person to grow into who they were meant to be, even if that growth sometimes feels uncomfortable or different from your expectations. Possessiveness comes from fear. Fear of losing someone, fear of not being enough, fear of being left behind. But love rooted in fear is not love at all. It is insecurity disguised as affection. When you hold someone too tightly, you suffocate them. When you demand they fit into your image, you strip them of their uniqueness. The relationship may survive for a while, but eventually, the weight of control crushes the very thing you wanted to preserve. Freedom, on the other hand, is the soil in which love flourishes. When you allow the one you love to dream, to explore, to grow, you create space for authenticity. You no longer need them to shrink themselves to make you feel secure. Instead, you stand as their supporter, their cheerleader, their safe place. This is the paradox of love. The less you try to control it, the stronger it becomes. Think about the sun and the earth. The sun does not chain the earth to itself. It simply shines, giving warmth and life, and because of that, the earth continues to orbit in harmony. Love works the same way. When you radiate freedom, when you nourish instead of restrain, the bond grows naturally stronger. The untold truth is that true love does not fear independence. It thrives on it. This principle applies not just in romantic love, but in friendships, in family, and even in spiritual love. A parent who loves their child does not try to own their life. They guide them and then release them into the world. A friend who loves does not cage your choices. They respect your journey. And God's love for us is the ultimate example. It is not forced, it is free. We are given choice, and in that choice, love becomes meaningful. So remember, love is not about saying, "I own you." It is about saying, "I honor you." It is not about chaining someone to your side. It is about walking freely, side by side. It is not about shrinking someone into a mold. It is about expanding with them as they grow. Real love does not imprison. It liberates. And in that freedom, it discovers its greatest strength. Love is work, not just wonder. The world sells us a romantic illusion about love. Movies, songs, and stories often show love as effortless. A magical bond where two people fit perfectly, live harmoniously, and everything feels easy. But here's the untold truth. Real love is not sustained by wonder alone. Real love is work, and not just any work. It is consistent, intentional, sometimes uncomfortable work that stretches you, humbles you, and transforms you. Yes, love begins with wonder. There is excitement in the spark of attraction, the thrill of discovery, the joy of being chosen. But wonder is only the opening chapter. The story that follows depends on what two people are willing to build together. And building anything of value takes effort. Just like a garden cannot survive on beauty without care, love cannot survive on passion without commitment. The flowers of romance may bloom quickly, but without watering, pruning, and nurturing, they wither. The work of love is not glamorous. It shows up in small, ordinary choices repeated day after day. It is listening when you are tired, forgiving when you feel wronged, and showing kindness when your pride wants to lash out. It is choosing to communicate instead of shutting down, to compromise instead of demanding your way, to heal wounds instead of ignoring them. These daily acts are not always easy, but they are the foundation that keeps love alive when the wonder fades. One of the greatest forms of work in love is patience. Relationships bring together two imperfect people with different histories, personalities, and expectations. Friction is inevitable. Patience is what keeps love from breaking in the moments of misunderstanding. Another form of work is humility, recognizing that you will make mistakes and having the courage to admit them. Pride destroys love. Humility repairs it. And then there is resilience, the willingness to keep trying, to keep showing up, even when things feel broken. Some people walk away from love because they believe if it requires effort, it must not be meant to be. But the truth is the opposite. The very act of working on love is what makes it meaningful. Anything that lasts requires effort, careers, health, spiritual growth, and love is no different. The effort you put into it is not a burden. It is an investment that multiplies in ways you cannot imagine. And here lies a deeper truth. The work of love transforms not just the relationship, but the people within it. Every act of forgiveness makes your heart softer. Every moment of patience makes your spirit stronger. Every sacrifice deepens your compassion. The labor of love is not wasted. It shapes you into a higher version of yourself. So yes, love is work, but it is holy work. It is the kind of work that turns two imperfect lives into something extraordinary. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. Not about constant wonder, but about constant willingness. And when two people choose to do this work together, the result is a bond that no storm can destroy. Love is the reflection of the divine. At the heart of everything we have explored, there is one truth that rises above them all. Love is not just human, it is divine. The deepest and most untold truth about love is that every genuine act of love we give or receive is a reflection of the divine source that created us. Real love, the kind that endures beyond attraction and beyond conditions, is sacred. It is a glimpse of God's presence flowing through human hearts. Think about the qualities of true love: patience, mercy, forgiveness, compassion, sacrifice. These are not random emotions, they are divine attributes. When we forgive someone who has wronged us, we mirror God's endless mercy. When we love without expecting anything in return, we reflect God's unconditional love for His creation. When we are patient with the flaws of others, we embody the same patience God shows with us every day. Love is not just about connection between two people, it is a pathway back to the divine. This is why love has the power to awaken the soul. In its truest form, love makes us selfless. It pulls us out of the prison of our ego and teaches us to give, to serve, and to endure. It softens the hardest of hearts and heals the deepest wounds. And in doing so, it brings us closer to the essence of God, who is love itself. The untold truth is that when you love sincerely, you are not only building a bond with another soul, you are also strengthening your bond with the divine. But here's what many don't realize. This reflection of the divine in love is not limited to romantic relationships. It is seen in a mother staying awake at night for her child, in a friend standing by you when the world walks away, in strangers helping each other in times of need. Every selfless act of love is a spark of God's light, reminding us that we are connected, that we are one, and that life itself is meant to be led through love. And this is why love transforms us. It is not just about happiness, it is about holiness. Love pushes us to rise above selfishness, to forgive when it hurts, to give when it's hard, to stand by others when it's inconvenient. These are not easy tasks, but they are sacred ones. In loving this way, we are elevated. We become vessels of something greater than ourselves. So the untold truth about love is this: it is not merely an emotion, not merely a bond, not merely a relationship. It is a reflection of God's own heart beating within us. To love truly is to participate in something eternal. To love deeply is to taste a small piece of heaven while still walking on earth. When we begin to see love this way, we no longer chase it as a fleeting feeling. We honor it as a sacred responsibility. We no longer fear the sacrifices it demands. We embrace them as acts of worship. Because in every moment we love selflessly, we are living the highest purpose we were created for, to reflect the divine through our hearts. And so as we bring this journey to a close, let us take a deep breath and reflect on what we have uncovered. Love is not the shallow fantasy the world often paints for us. It is not merely the butterflies of attraction, the temporary thrill of desire, or the illusion of perfection. The untold truth about love is far deeper, far more demanding, and far more divine. We have seen that love is not just a feeling. It is a choice, made daily, even in moments when it is difficult. It is not a mask to hide behind, but a mirror that reveals who we really are, pushing us to confront our insecurities and heal our wounds. It does not demand perfection, but invites vulnerability. The courage to show up with our flaws and still be worthy of connection. It is not about possession or control, but about freedom, allowing the people we love to grow and fly, while we walk beside them in trust and respect. It is not a magical wonder that sustains itself effortlessly. It is work, sacred work, that requires patience, resilience, and humility. And above all, love is not only human, it is a reflection of the divine, a sacred light that flows through us, connecting us to God and to one another. The question now is this: what will you do with this truth? Will you continue to chase love as a fleeting feeling, expecting it to be perfect, effortless, and constant? Or will you embrace it as a sacred responsibility, one that asks for sacrifice but in return gives you something eternal? The choice is yours. The beauty of this truth is that it empowers you. You don't need a perfect life, a perfect partner, or a perfect self to experience love. What you need is the willingness to be real, to be vulnerable, to choose patience, and to reflect the divine attributes of compassion and mercy in your relationships. When you do this, you step into a higher form of love, one that not only strengthens your bonds with others, but also elevates your soul. And so, my dear listener, as you leave this video and return to your own life, carry this reminder with you. Love is not just something you wait to receive. It is something you create. It is something you choose. It is something you nurture. The world may not always tell you this, but real love is not easy. It is weighty. It is sacred. It is transformative. And yet, it is worth every tear, every sacrifice, and every effort. Because in the end, nothing matters more than how deeply you loved and how authentically you gave. So step forward with courage. Choose love when it's hard. Forgive when it hurts. Be vulnerable when it feels risky. Support without control. Work for the bond you cherish. And in all of it, remember, you are reflecting the greatest power in the universe. For the untold truth about love is this: it is not just what connects us to each other, it is what connects us back to the divine.